Hey everybody, Tony Johnson here, your customer experience leader. It is 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's time for the Great Service Comeback. So a quick programming note, next week we will have a schedule change. We will go to Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it's fantastic because as the United States is reopened, people are going back to work, businesses are reopening. We're going to make sure we make it much easier for you to get the information you need to succeed. So Tuesdays, we will actually talk about the opening to the week. On Thursdays, we will talk about closing it down and what to do next week going in. I know Mondays are a rough day in every business. So again, we will go to Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But let's jump right in. I was talking to a chef friend of mine today, and we were discussing reopening his restaurant. And so he was talking about, here in the Orlando area, exactly what that was going to mean, what that was going to look like. And I asked him what his strategy was. And he said, Tony, I'm actually taking the approach of what if this was a brand new restaurant? I'm looking at everything with fresh eyes and a fresh approach. And I thought, you know what, that is a serious piece to do. That is a great way to look at it. He said, it really has forced me to be imaginative, to look at problems that maybe we've ignored before, and to think about where we are in the economy and go at it with a fresh perspective that might help bring in more customers more quickly. And I thought, that's great. So if you were going to do that, if you're going to take that approach, and I highly recommend, especially if you've been closed for a minute, to kind of take that step back and really look, I've got 3 tips for you going into next week that you should really tackle. So the first is around bringing your team together and resetting expectations. What a great time to talk about safety. What a fantastic time to talk about your service expectations. And then also, what does it mean to deliver great quality? So if you're going to think about safety, service, and quality, bring everybody together, talk about what that looks like, level set and reset those expectations, and make sure people understand safety, service, quality are absolute non-negotiable. So that's a great way to reset that. The next piece is around busting down silos. And I think this is important because if you've had a remote workforce for a hot second, if you have had people out working remotely, if you've had people working from home, and maybe you're starting to bring some of them back in, or you're firing back up on all cylinders in your business, who knows what has happened during this time? Have you found that people are more segmented, that people, again, have become a little more siloed in the organization? And that's never good for leadership, never good for customer service, never good for communication throughout your organization. So if you have seen people start to get siloed off, and it happens all the time, don't feel bad. I've worked for a lot of really large organizations and worked with a lot of organizations over the years, and I have seen, the C-suite, the marketing, the human resources, the operations folks. It is easy to get siloed, and when people talk, and I have worked for some great organizations that everyone talks to everybody about everything, open lines of communication. It makes you agile, it makes you of service, and it makes you an organization that folks really do want to replicate and do business with. So if you can find a way to bust down those silos and have that sort of flat communication, and if you think that anyone can talk to anybody about anything at any time inside of your business, chances are you've already done a pretty darn good job of busting down those silos. And the third piece, check in with your customers. So again, this is a great chance for you to say, listen, we are reopening. This is our brand new point of view, or check in to see how they're doing. What do they need? What are your customers' pain points at this very moment? Because if you rely on listening to them, if you listen to your customers and what they need and what they want and what their troubles are, that allows you to be a problem solver. And people need, I think more than ever, businesses that prioritize safety, that prioritize kindness, and that prioritize problem solving. If you can do those 3 things, you sort of got the hat trick of awesome going on. So continue to think about how you can solve problems, but you will never know what your customers' problems are unless you get out there and talk to them, you get out there and ask them. We're probably getting back into a point where you can start reactivating some of your survey mechanisms. I know a lot of you took a break from that. So maybe it's a great time to relaunch, re-meet your customers, reinitiate yourself in their lives, find out what they need and what they're looking for, and then go out there and deliver that. So these 3 pieces are quintessential when we talk about the Great Service Comeback. Again, taking that step back and looking at your business through fresh eyes, you're going to be shocked at the intuition, the imagination, and the fantastic things you're able to do when you take that step back and do that. Now, if you need a little bit of help, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me at tony@igniteyourservice.com or go right to my website, igniteyourservice.com/comeback. You can book time with me right there on the website. We can talk about what it's going to take to get from where you are to where you want to be and how you can grow your sales at a record pace, because as things begin to reopen, as you start to go back to normal, you're going to want to make sure you're crushing it so you can get out and really start to make headway with your sales growth and your customer and client retention. So please reach out. I will be off the air tomorrow. I will be back on Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please keep your customers, your employees, your teams, your families at the center of everything you do. That's where amazing things are possible. I will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.